The night is dark and full of terrors.
What if the Hound saved Robb Stark at the Red Wedding? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Arya watches as the slaughter begins around this place. It is just like the massacre in the Red Keep, but far worse. There are so many of her people, and the ones doing the killing are their own allies. She watches as the massive tents where the Northmen are taking shelter begin to collapse, throwing their ranks into confusion just as the horns sound for an attack. In the distance, Frey men-at-arms rush out from the plains, their banners flying in the winds and confirming their betrayal. She stares at them until a hand presses on her shoulder, causing her to jump out of her skin.
We must leave. There isn't anything for us here.
Not anything. My brother is in the castle, and my mother.
And they're probably dead now, with how things are turning up. Unless you want to join them, we gotta get out of here, now.
And where do you suggest going? River Run?
The Vale, maybe. Your mother's sister is a highborn lady there. She might be willing to ransom you. Either way, I'm not sticking around here any longer. If you want to die here, then be my guest.
I've never seen my aunt before, and she's never seen me. She'd never pay for me, assuming we even reach the Vale. Neither is the Blackfish in River Run. If you want your ransom, this is the only place you can get it.
She points towards the twins, the sound of the massacre echoing even out here. The Hound, who was already riding away slowly, stops. He doesn't turn back, but his fingers tighten around the reins of his horse.
Bloody wolf. More trouble than you're worth.
He suddenly whirls around, his horse thundering across the ground as he draws his axe. The Hound's cry is a savage thing, and to top his midnight horse, he looks like a demon from a nightmare. Arya watches as he gallops forward, cutting down the first Frey knight who gets in his way. The axe splits his skull and saves a fallen riverman whom the man was about to impale. The man-at-arms looks up in surprise, but Arya is riding close behind him.
Follow that man. He's gonna save our king.
Blinking, the man-at-arms seizes the fallen Frey's halberd and rushes after them. The Hound does not take a direct path to the castle, instead riding through any fights, finding scattered fighters who are being picked off by the Freys and Boltons. It is slow going, but as their numbers grow, they can save more men. Soon they reach one of the tents and hack the Freys who are driving spears into the writhing forms. None of them expects an attack from the rear. Even with just a few dozen men, this throws the Freys into confusion as they think there might be more men waiting to attack. It gives the Northmen precious time to rally, and the Hound soon has a force of 100 men around him, with more steadily arriving as they climb out from the fallen tent or emerge from the chaos. Yet the Hound does not remain with them. 50 remain behind to fight the Freys and gather reinforcements, but the rest ride with him right towards the castle itself to save Robb. In the Twins, the massacre is winding down, as the lords and knights who accompanied the king in the north are either cut down or dragged off to the dungeons. Robb remains in the middle of the room, bleeding from several arrow wounds. He is on his knees, staring numbly at Walder Frey. Behind him, Catelyn wails and holds one of Walder's grandsons with a dagger at his throat. The Lord of the Crossing looks at him distastefully and glances towards Roose Bolton, who finishes off another foe. He nods and approaches Robb, grabbing him by the neck and raising his blade.
The Lannisters send their regards.
Before he can finish him off, his men cry out in alarm as someone bursts into the room and cuts down one of his guards. The Hound turns and faces the other Northman, his axe already flashing and slicing across another's belly. As the rest recover and come to finish him off, the remaining Northmen whom the Hound rescued come rushing in. For the second time tonight, the halls of the twins run red with blood, but this time it is no massacre, and many of Roose's men fall around him. As he moves to finish off Robb, pain explodes across his side as someone throws a knife. It slides into his leg and causes him to tumble over. As Roose falls, the Hound barrels past his remaining guards and rushes towards him, his axe raised over his head, and comes crashing down. Suddenly, the whole hall goes silent as Roose's body flops onto the ground, and the rest of his guards either die or flee. The Hound hauls Robb up to his feet and levels his axe at Lord Walder's throat.
You better not go die on me, Your Grace. Not after all the effort I made to rescue you.
I will not. Thank you,
Sir, I'm no sir.
No. You're the Hound. I recognize those scars. You're a long way from home, and you should be serving the Lannisters.
Like you. I've been watching them hatch their plots since I was a boy. I can smell one from a league away, and it stinks of the lion. Not unless old Walder is more courageous than I've been giving him credit for.
No, he isn't. But we cannot deal with him now. Our men outside still need our help.
That they do.
He helps Robb to his feet and offers him a sword. The Northmen with him form a ring around their king to protect him as they help him mount up. And Arya helps free Greywind with Sir Gawain Westerling. Seeing the direwolf looping through their ranks only adds to the chaos, but only to the Freys. The Northmen see it as a rallying cry and fight with renewed fury, especially once Robb rides on his horse, shouting orders and directing them. The battle drags on throughout the night. The casualties are heavy, but it is far from one-sided. By morning, the twins are now under the Starks. The remaining Freys are taken prisoner, and in the same dungeons they intended to drag the Northmen in. All except for Lord Walder, who remains where Catelyn and Robb Stark approach. The Hound pulls his sword out and levels it against his throat.
So, Lord Walder, shall we finish our conversation? You did not answer the Hound's question. Were you working for the Lannisters?
You think I'm some cat's paw acting on behalf of someone else? Do not forget that you wronged my house.
So you were prepared to break the guest right, all to satisfy your own grudge. That will not work in your favor.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you fear for your life, Lord Frey? Let me tell you now, Lord Tywin is the least of your worries. Right now you are a dead man walking, no matter what happens. But how you die is up to you. We could leave you to the Lannisters, or perhaps throw you in the Green Fork, or I could let Greywind tear your throat out.
You are not that savage, young wolf.
That was before you tried to massacre my people during my uncle's wedding feast. I think the old gods will understand what I do next.
To prove his point, he whistles, and Greywind inches closer, his teeth bared and gnashing at Walder. The old lord tries to back away, but his gout-ridden legs fail him and prevent him from moving. So as saliva trickles onto his lap, he feels the fangs inches from his lips as he at last breaks.
All right. Yes, you are correct. Tywin did permit us to act. He promised us a pardon and rich rewards if we got rid of the king in the north.
What rewards?
River Run would be given to us, and Derry.
I see. Thank you for your honesty, Lord Walder.
He calls Greywind back, and then his sword flashes as he cuts through Walder's throat. The old lord slumps back against the ground, blood pouring onto his seat. Meanwhile, the rest of the Frey children are here together. Those who are innocent and did not take part in the battle are herded away, but those who personally joined the massacre are lined up to be executed. Before that, they are all made to sign written confessions confirming what Walder said. The same is true for the remaining Bolton men-at-arms, who confirmed that they were given orders by Roose Bolton to join the attack when he gave the signal. They soon begin to spread these rumors across the Seven Kingdoms, especially the Lannisters' involvement. Robb spares no details, talking about the brutality of how many men died as they were eating, and the rest of the realm reacts in horror. Many demand answers from Lord Tywin, asking if he truly sanctioned such a massacre. Even the Tyrells are given pause, and some of them start to wonder whether their wedding can push through or not. Things even get bad enough that they refuse to march any further until they get a confirmation. Tywin tries to do as much damage control as he can. He insists that he allowed Walder to retaliate, but he never gave the specifics. But even this comes under fire, as Lame Lothar insists that Tywin had told them to strike at them during the wedding. But while others are too stunned to respond, the Dornish decide to act. They send riders to Robb, where hidden messages are sent to him. There, they offer an alliance. They see in Robb a man who's suffered as much as their family, and provides a chance to exact revenge. Short on allies, Robb sees no reason to refuse. When they ask their next move, the messenger simply replies that the Dornish will send them a signal when the time is to strike. Robb is happy to take this offer. His injuries from the Red Wedding were severe, and he requires time to recover. More importantly, many of his men were slain, leaving him unable to actually press back to retake Moat Cailin. In the meantime, they use that time to gather their forces and organize their defenses of the Riverlands. He tries to call for reinforcements, or sends men to charter ships to bypass Moat Cailin entirely, but that will take time. In the meantime, he takes his position in the Twins, where he and his men lick their wounds. The only thing that helps put them at ease is the sight of Arya, who appears in the aftermath of the battle. The two of them share a tender embrace as she explains that she had escaped in the aftermath of the coup in the Red Keep. She had wandered in the Riverlands before eventually being found by the Hound. For his aid, Sandor is made a member of Robb's household. Meanwhile, Arya and Robb continue to talk with Catelyn, tears flowing from their eyes as they lament everything that's happened. Unfortunately, Sansa remains in Lannister custody, and they marry her off to Tyrion, both to ensure that the Tyrells do not get to use her as a bargaining chip and to secure a claim to Winterfell. In reality, such a claim will never be taken seriously. Though their family might be reunited, Robb is still anxious to get going. He hoped that the Dornish reinforcements would allow him to get the manpower to at least retake the north, though the Martells did not send any men. They insist they will only move when the time is right. This leaves Robb with less than 5,000 men, many of questionable loyalty, as they are Karstark and Bolton men. But while he oversees the fortifications of the Twins, a group of men approaches the stronghold, demanding an audience. At first, they expect these to be more lords pledging their services to him. Instead, they find a group of ragged-looking men. They wear rough-spun clothes with mud and dirt speckling their bodies. It is not enough to hide the holy symbols tattooed on their bodies or draped around their arms and necks. Their leader is a small old man who appears humble, but has a powerful aura about him. It isn't a martial aura, but that of a pious man whose faith speaks for him.
Greetings, King Robb. Have no fear. My brethren come not as foes, but as allies. And just who are your brethren? We call ourselves Sparrows. Like you, we have suffered tremendously during this war. While many of the lords speak of their lands and castles, it is the spirit and faith that have paid the highest toll. Men lose all sense of shame, all restraint and compassion. Those who have never had such things become monsters, as you can tell from your recent experience. On that we can agree. My heart bleeds for the followers of the Seven. Even though I do not follow such gods, their suffering hurts me deeply. However, I must ask, what brings you here? We come because we have heard of the brutality suggested by the Lannisters. This wedding is an affront to the gods, and have been conducted by those who claim to follow the Seven. It is a blasphemy that requires the attention of the king, and you are one of those kings. But not the one who follows the Seven.
But one who recognizes the evil done more so than anyone. That is why I propose an alliance between our people. It is clear that the Lannisters are no longer fit to sit on the Iron Throne. Perhaps they never were. While they speak of their rights, the small folk suffer. I ask you to do your part in ending that suffering. You remain the foe of the Lannisters. That means you can help crown someone more deserving.
You would have my son play Kingmaker.
I would have your son serve as a beacon for the pious. You see, I believe the Iron Throne should be occupied by one who lives up to the tenets of the Seven. Meanwhile, you wish to declare independence. Those goals are not mutually exclusive. Begging your pardon, my lady, but your son is a pagan heathen, an honorable one, but still a heretic. The realm will be better without such unbelievers. All I ask is you do this one service as an act of atonement.
Robb scowls, and Catelyn huffs. The Hound tightens his grip on his sword, ready to cut down the Sparrow if Robb gives the word. However, he does not. Though he finds him exceedingly arrogant and dislikes how he speaks of the old gods, peeling away the self-righteousness is still a sound plan. An alliance. Because of that, Robb is at least willing to listen to what he has to say. Slowly, they begin to discuss what this alliance might entail. The High Sparrow has followers, many of them eager to fight. They will give them much-needed reinforcements, and unlike the Dornish, they will provide these soldiers immediately. These men will accompany Robb to retake Moat Cailin. The High Sparrow will also use his influence to help reorganize Northern independence. In exchange, Robb will help crown a king the High Sparrow finds passable to the Iron Throne. At the same time, as the king's domain also controls the Riverlands, he must also allow missionaries to travel to the north and begin preaching and converting any Northmen willing. There are still issues regarding the number of such men and the nature of their tasks. Robb is also reluctant to get involved in southern politics, and yet he also sees little choice. His army is depleted, and it will take him many months to rebuild his forces. The only house willing to ally with him remains cryptic and has yet to actually send reinforcements. Besides, this alliance might serve to help him accomplish his goal. While Catelyn is uncertain and other lords are reluctant to give a commoner such power, he cannot deny the potential of such a plan and agrees to this alliance. Soon enough, recruits begin to arrive in the Twins, far more than they were able to gather before. These are poor men, some wearing dinted mail, many more lacking armor. Their weapons are scavenged from battlefields, rusted longswords, wood axes, spiked flails, and spears, and yet they are eager to fight. Sandor is placed in charge of these men, as Robb hopes his ferocity will prevent them from breaking. When the time comes to fight, they march towards Moat Cailin and watch as the Sparrows rush forward. Though many die in the first volley, others continue to come. They shout and curse, stabbing wildly, more brawlers than soldiers. The Sparrows make a great mess of things, but they do their job and keep the Ironborn distracted while Robb's veterans creep up north and hit the castle from less defended positions. With that, the castle swiftly falls back to northern hands, and Robb's army begins riding out north. Moat Cailin is actually the most difficult obstacle, as the rest of the castles are less well defended, allowing Robb to advance across his homeland and retake the strongpoints. Along with them, the Sparrows come, spreading their religion and urging others to convert. They claim that these disasters are a result of the lack of faith. Such things are met with derision, but Robb never promises that people will actually convert. He is happy to let them sermon and preach until their throats are raw, as his attention is focused on his future campaigns. Meanwhile, in the south, events are moving quickly, too. Despite the scandals of the Red Wedding, Joffrey and Marjorie's wedding arrangement continues as planned. Yet this event soon turns into tragedy, as during the wedding feast, Joffrey chokes while eating and dies. Many immediately blame poison, and Tyrion stands as the primary suspect due to his stormy relationship with the Queen. A trial is enacted, but it becomes clear to many that this is a farce, and the odds are stacked against him. Yet to Oberyn, this is the perfect opportunity to continue his plans. He sees this as a chance to disrupt Lannister rule, and at the same time, a way to recruit Tyrion into his cause. However, this does not go according to plan. Oberyn offers to represent Tyrion in his trial by combat. He hopes to defeat the Mountain, and manages to defeat him. However, he grows careless and allows Gregor to kill him. With that, Tyrion is sentenced to die, but the imp manages to escape, not before Tyrion kills Tywin, ensuring that the Lannister rule is now thrown into chaos. The recent shakeups in their regime have left only Cersei and Jaime as the heads of the main branch, while Tommen is declared king. The boy is nothing like Joffrey, being sweet, kind, but also helpless and naive. This makes him the perfect puppet for Cersei, and yet the High Sparrow also sees this. His spies report Tommen's piety and compassion. If there was ever a chance to pass the reforms he wishes, it would be with him.
Tommen Lannister. You wish for my army to back Tommen Lannister. That is correct, Your Grace. The boy lacks any of the taint that plagued his brother. He is of royal blood and recognized by most of the realm. Also a Lannister. Do not forget that I went to war with their family. How their family wronged mine. They also wronged many other families. The farmers whose fields they burned, fishfolk whose boats they seized, merchants whom they robbed, and smiths whose hands they broke. What of it? Those actions were done by Joffrey and Lord Tywin, both of whom are dead. Now we have the chance for fresh blood to take over. Will you not take that chance?
And what makes it any different from simply bending the knee and accepting Lannister rule?
I spoke of King Tommen, not the Lannisters. Though Lord Tywin may no longer be among us, I would not trust either of his children to rule this boy. If we are to crown him, we will ensure their influence is forever removed.
That is far closer to what Robb wants to hear. He rubs his chin and considers the possibility. What eventually pushes him over the edge is a letter from Dorne. This one isn't sent via courier, but Raven. The message is short, containing only 2 words. It's time. Though Oberyn might have fallen, the death of Tywin throws the Lannisters into chaos as Cersei takes command. However, she begins to alienate both her allies and her family right at a time when they need them most. Without the Freys, there is no one to keep the Riverlands together, so it must be conquered by force. The offensive begins once Randall Tarly and Devon Lannister both take command of their respective army and begin attacking the countryside. And just as Lord of Hornhill rides out with his army, Lord Yornwood strikes from the south. The Dornish begin raiding the marches, which have been stripped of all their extra soldiers, leaving them with only a skeleton defense force. This is enough to hold their castles and beat back the raids, but not the 10,000 Dornishmen whom Prince Doran raises. Mace hurries to march his forces back from King's Landing to defend his lands, but for the moment they must rely on less reliable troops left behind. Robb is quick to leap at this opportunity and gathers his host, now stiffened with sparrows and fresh Northmen, and rides back south of the Neck with close to 15,000 men. Ahead of them, the sparrows fly and begin gathering strength amongst the small folk. They are not limited to any region, as all across the 7 kingdoms, some commoners suffer under the rule of local lords and are prepared to take up arms. The High Sparrow rides from village to village, giving sermons that promise to raise up a king of the people, one who will heed their wills and not of the nobles. With those vows, he promises to bring the arrogant nobles to heel, and many eat this up. Countless men take up arms. In the Reach, defenses are hampered by small folk who refuse to work. This forces the local lords to spend resources to put them down. In the Stormlands, the region was thought to be pacified, and many militias and outlaw leaders sprang up from the forests. Even in the Westerlands, the region has seen the myth of Lannister invincibility shattered long ago. Now they seek to rise up against Tywin's harsh rule. All of these rebellions provide a headache for the royalists, but provide an opportunity to Robb. He arrives at the Riverlands without problems and finds many eager volunteers for his army. Soon enough, they amass near Riverrun, where they find a Dornish ambassador waiting for them. She announces that Dorne is also searching for its own candidate for king.
What are you talking about?
I am not so young that I have forgotten who ruled before the stags. The dragons have forged a dynasty that lasted close to 300 years. Without aid, it shall shine again.
And just how are you planning to bring them back? The last Targaryen is in exile.
And yet that has not stopped him from soaring. The reports claim that she has traveled east with full-grown dragons. She has begun to conquer Slaver's Bay and forged her own kingdom. A month ago, she did not have a kingdom. A year ago, she didn't have an army. Her arrival is only a matter of time. This will ensure that we are on the right side of that war.
The right side of this war is with the people. It has already been agreed that King Tommen shall be the ruler we back. He is young and untainted by the corruption of the world.
Ah, yes, making him easy prey for your corruption. Let us dispense with that pretense. You are not interested in him for his virtue. You care for him as a puppet.
I am not some puppet master like you high-born fools. I am a man of the gods, a shepherd who shall guide the realm.
What a pretty cloak to drape what I just said.
Enough. Look at the two of you, squabbling over a crown you do not yet possess. We forged this alliance to make the realm better, to unite it. And here you both are, threatening to tear it apart again.
King Robb, you had best guard your tongue. You are our ally, but your independence hinges on our support.
At last, we have grounds for agreement.
The Riverlands burn again. Smoke rolls across the horizon, thick and black, curling above the broken towers of Harrenhal and the flooded plains of the Trident. Villages once rebuilt are now abandoned, their fields trampled by hooves of tens of thousands. The banners of the direwolf, the rose, and the lion clash across the region, Robb's host against the united might of the Tyrells and Lannisters. Steel meets flesh in the ruins of Derry. The air is thick with the smell of rain and blood. At the vanguard, the Hound rides like a beast unchained, his sword swinging in great red arcs as he smashes through the initial reach efforts to the siege castle. The men who follow him are sparrows, ragged, barefoot zealots, and dented mail, howling prayers as they die. They believe the gods guide his hand, though Sandor Clegane curses them with every breath. The High Sparrow marches close behind, his hands clasped in prayer.
Keep the line steady, you fools. The gods won't save you. Only bloody arms will.
Keep advancing, my brothers. Do not falter. Remind the nobility of our faith. This was your final chance. A chance you didn't take. Like the lightning, we fall on your golden world. Now on the horizon you can see our torches burning. No turning back. Our army will attack.
The sparrows keep chanting, half mad with faith. They push through the Tyrell shield wall, and the battle sways in Robb's favor. Randall determines that capturing the castle is too costly and withdraws. By dusk, the battle devolves into chaos. The Hound, armor blackened with blood and ash, sits beside a fallen willow. His horse is gone, his sword dented, but he still breathes. Across the muddy road, a lone septon walks through the carnage, murmuring last rites over the dead, friend and foe alike.
Strange day for prayer, old man.
Every day is, sir.
The gods listen most when the world burns. My name is Septon Meribald. I'm no sir. Best remember that. Apologies. I have heard of you, Sandor Clegane. I must admit I was shocked when I heard you fought the Sparrows. Bugger the Sparrows. A fight for myself. Robb Stark feeds me, gives me men who obey. That's enough.
Then we are the same. The Sparrows allow me to travel alongside their army, performing last rites to those who die, and blessing those who wish. It is the least I can do.
If that is what you're doing, then we are nothing alike.
Don't be so quick to judge a bird because of the color of its feathers. I was once a killer like you. I slaughtered men without mercy. I bedded girls through lies and deception. I'm not proud to admit it, but I have profaned myself in a few years more than other men in a lifetime.
And is that why you're here? Hope your gods will forgive you. You waste your time, Septon. The gods don't care. Not about them, not about me, not about any of us.
Perhaps. But that doesn't mean I should stop caring. Most of these people, I doubt any of them, ever read the Seven-Pointed Star. They just follow because they were promised something better. A future. Tell me, what do you fight for?
I don't know. Money. Food. Because that's all I know. A year ago, I could have answered you for the chance to run my brother through. But he's dead. And the Dornish sheepshagger who did him in is dead as well. But I'm still here. And all I see when I close my eyes is him, mocking me. That even after all this, I wasn't the one who got to finish him off.
If you know what you become, you're already walking away from it.
And where do I walk, Septum, when all the roads lead to war?
Then build your own road. Even in blood, the gods leave a path. You said not to call you sir. May I at least call you a friend?
Fuck it. Why not?
But while this sector remains quiet, the rest of the war remains brutal. Robb pushes towards Riverrun, trying to smash into Devon's army and dislodge them from their strongpoints at Pink Maiden. However, the Lannister knight is nothing like his father and proves more adept, so while Robb liberates one town, he will ride back and take it. Devon is also careful to avoid combat unless the terrain favors him. He instead launches raids and ambushes, even managing to kill Galbraith Glover during one such battle. Further south, the Greyjohn leads the rest of his forces against Mace, his ferocity unmatched as he batters the Reach army. While he cannot bring them into a decisive clash, he at least prevents them from going on the attack. Behind him, the River Lords also rush forward, eager for revenge. Far to the south, on the black cliffs of Dragonstone, the wind howls as if Stannis Baratheon stands up on the battlements, his jaw hard as the stone beneath his feet. Behind him, Melisandre kneels, silent, shamed.
You promised me fire and crowns, yet the usurper still lives. The leeches did nothing. The flames lied.
The flames do not lie, Your Grace. Only men fail to see.
Do you call me blind now? You burn 3 leeches, yet 1 king remains. That is not victory. If the gods will not grant me victory, I will carve it for myself. You will remain here. Pray you have something to show for it by the time I come back.
Below, the courtyard stirs to life. Black banners with the fiery heart of the Lord of Light are replaced by the crowned stag. Men hammer steel, Fletchers string blows, and the castle harbors fill with ships being readied for war. Davos Seaworth oversees the loading of provisions, while word spreads through the narrow halls. Stannis Baratheon rides again. In the Reach, the Tyrells bleed. In the Riverlands, the wolves and lions tear each other apart. Stannis knows the time has come. The south is ripe with rebellion. Already many houses there are unsatisfied, and peasant bands rise in the name of the High Sparrow. Yet the Stormlands remain distant enough that he does not have to worry about Robb Stark or the Sparrow yet. His presence might steal those men's hearts and give them a chance to rally around him. Soon enough, he makes landfall in Storm's End, which remains loyal to him and begins sending out riders to approach the local lords and the bands of rebels. He offers them the same thing, stability, and to hear their complaints. If he becomes king, he will help implement them. Without the High Sparrow to challenge him, and with Melisandre losing favor, more houses begin to rally around him. They bolster his small army and allow him to defeat any Lannister loyalists in the region. To make matters worse, the squabbles between Robb and the Dornish leave their alliance on shakier ground, making some leaders prefer allying with Stannis. Doran sees this, but he does not have the men to spare for a second front, so all he can do is watch and raid the marches, but leaves the interior of the Stormlands free for Stannis to reconquer. Meanwhile, while the Dornish continue their raids across the Reach, advancing deeper towards Old Town, ships begin to appear off the coast. These bear the banner of the three-headed dragon. For the first time in almost 2 decades, a Targaryen steps foot on Westerosi soil. One reason why the Martells wished to keep the war going for so long is simply that they wished to ally with Daenerys Targaryen and needed time to win her over. Now she arrives, but to Doran's shock, his son is not among them. His companions only present him with the urn containing his ashes. Daenerys Targaryen presents her sincerest apologies for what happened, but explained how it came about due to the boy attempting to obtain one of her dragons illegally. Doran nods his head numbly, but inside the back of his mind, he broods over this. He had hoped this alliance would bring about justice, but even that cost him a son. For the first time, he questions whether his victory would be worth it. However, the wildfire was already released from the pot, and there is no putting it back now. Daenerys is here to conquer, and he promises allies.
Your son explained how Dawn shall provide its spears, as well as those of the Norths and Riverlands.
That is correct. However, as my son doubtlessly told you, the North is demanding its independence, and for good reason. They are providing their aid as allies, not vassals. But there is also another complication. The High Sparrow, a holy man who has joined our cause,
Many of the soldiers in the army are volunteers recruited by him.
And why does this holy man pose such a problem? Surely he will recognize the evils of House Lannister and the validity of my claim.
You are partly correct. He certainly is no friend of the Lannisters, but he believes that only those who serve his god are worthy of being followed. As a result, he has pushed Robb Stark into backing Tommen Lannister.
Another Lannister? I can see the problem. And yet, this Stark is demanding independence, but backs my enemies. That tells me that he might not deserve it, and allowing him a long leash will only bite me back.
Your Grace, Robb Stark is not someone you wish for as an enemy.
Then he shall be careful of who he challenges.
Soon enough, the rest of her army arrives. Hordes of Dothraki screamers, row after row of unsullied infantry, and sellswords to stiffen them. They march through Dorne, where they are welcomed as heroes, with more soldiers joining them. But these armies pale in comparison to the sight of the dragons. The massive beasts fly overhead, briefly covering up the sun as they shade the army while they march. With these reinforcements, the Dornish offensive gains fresh momentum. While Mace hastily reinforces the marches, those defenders were meant to hold back armies, not dragons. As they brace themselves for more Dornish raiders, a shriek from above splits the sky and leaves the men frozen in place as Drogon descends from the sky. His mouth opens, revealing the jets of flame that burst out. Starspike is soon alight with fire, its defenders burning or trying to desperately fight the fires, allowing the Dornish to swarm the walls and capture the castle. One after one, reach houses begin to fall. When the dragons are not there, the Dothraki gallop across the grasslands and fields. They are right at home in this region, allowing them to ride down any army that tries to stop them. When soldiers try to turtle up before the fortifications, the Unsullied fall upon them, their iron discipline unmatched. Soon enough, Old Town itself is under siege, and many more places are about to surrender. All of this leaves Mace with a difficult choice of recalling Randall Tarley from the Riverlands just to stabilize their front. Without the massive army of the Reach, the depleted Lannisters are slowly forced back as Robb turns his full attention on them. Davin soon realizes that he's in a difficult position and opts to withdraw past the Golden Tooth. Soon, even the Vale joins in as Littlefinger sees where the wind is blowing and declares himself their ally, even presenting Sansa as proof of his loyalty. With Dragonfire in the south, Wolves to the north, and Stannis in the east, the war effort begins to buckle with remarkable speed, so much that the Tyrells begin to reconsider their options. The High Sparrow uses his allies to send word to them, reiterating that he is willing to recognize Tommen and Margaery as the king and queen. The only condition is that they remove Cersei and Jaime, as well as pass their demands. Soon, the Tyrells begin to withdraw their forces, focusing more on defense of their lands, as an effort to show their support to the High Sparrow as well. Rain hammers against the scorched towers of Harrenhal. The Great Hall, roof cracked and banners half burnt, now serves as neutral ground. At the center of the table sits Daenerys, Robb, and the High Sparrow. Prince Nymeria is there as well, along with Jon Royce and other great lords. Behind them, armies fill the ruins. The Dothraki laugh by the fires, sparrows chant their hymns, and Northmen sharpen their swords.
I have come with fire and freedom. The Lannisters' hold is broken. The Reach burns, and the realm cries for deliverance. My family has sat on the Iron Throne, forged the throne, and it was stolen from me. You will recognize me as your queen.
The North remembers, Your Grace, but it remembers its own kings. My father died for the safety of his people. His father died because he was protecting Northern pride. Pride was besmirched by your father. I offered to back a good king, and that is what I'm doing.
Do you deny me my merits? I have brought freedom to Slavers Bay. Even now, hundreds of thousands of freedmen chant my name because I fought for them when no one else would.
And the Seven surely smile on you for it. But it raises the question, why do you not rule them instead of claiming lands you have never been to? Your Grace speaks of freedom, yet demands submission. You are the breaker of chains, are you not? And yet, some have risen against their masters here, but you wish for them to bend the knee to you.
I freed thousands from bondage. Do you think I came across the world to kneel before hypocrites dressed in rags?
Careful, child. You claim to fight for the downtrodden, but the moment they chose not to worship you, you called them ungrateful. The gods see truth beneath crowns.
Enough! We all bled to reach this table. If you wish to be queen, prove it by your deeds, not your demands.
You would defy me, Wolf.
Be careful, Your Grace. My house rebelled against the dragons once, and we won. I am prepared to do it again.
The room quakes for a moment as Drogon roars outside, his wings casting shadows across the broken ceiling. The sparrows stir uneasily, but the High Sparrow does not move.
Let the beast roar. It is only proof that the breaker of chains only frees those who bend to her.
For a long, dangerous silence, none speak. Then a messenger bursts into the hall, dripping rain, and there they bring news. Stannis Baratheon is laying siege to the city as they speak, having seized the opportunity to attack while they were all distracted. They realize that if he sieges King's Landing, it won't matter who has a better claim, as Stannis will be king. Reluctantly, they agree to put aside their differences for now, but tensions remain high, and they march out in separate columns and make separate camps. The siege begins under a red sky. Stannis' banners, black stags on gold, ring the city from the east. Robb's host and the Sparrows take the western fields, while Daenerys' army camps to the north, her dragons circling above the Blackwater like silent gods. Stannis watches them warily. They are far enough back not to pose an immediate threat, but he still keeps watch over them. So far, everyone's attention is focused on the city, which looks ready to fall. Everyone except Littlefinger. The ruler of the Vale might have pledged his banners to Robb, but in reality he is only interested in serving himself, and that requires sowing further chaos. Because of that, he writes to Cersei, promising to cause some chaos in the armies, and tells her to strike. That night, while the fires burn low, shadows move through the camps. Littlefinger's men, masked and silent, Knights of the Vale under the command of Lyn Corbray, strike at Stannis' perimeter. They make no effort to hide themselves, allowing the Baratheons to think the Starks are attacking them. Across the plain, Cersei's riders, clad in borrowed Baratheon armor, slip from the gates and attack Robb's supply trains. Torches ignite the wagons while men scream Stannis' name. By dawn, chaos reigns. Stannis' commanders accuse the Northmen of this attack and mobilize the army to launch a counterattack. Cavalry and skirmishes rush out, while Robb's scouts swear they were ambushed by Baratheon men. The Sparrows and their army lack any discipline and use this as a chance to rush forward. They ride out along with some cavalry to clash with the Baratheon skirmishers. Soon, Stannis sends men-at-arms and some freed riders to assist them. Before long, a full-blown battle is taking place as both sides hurry to funnel more soldiers into the fray. Above her, Drogon spreads his wings and shrieks into the coming dawn. Daenerys wishes to burn them and end this battle, but her own forces are too close, and she dares not attack her own troops, lest her reputation sink even further. Instead, under the advice of Sir Barristan, she sends her Unsullied to assist them. The battlefield outside King's Landing is a nightmare of fire and confusion. Both Stannis and Robb pour more soldiers into the battle, kicking up large dust clouds that prevent either side from getting a full picture of what's going on. As they fight through the latest wave of soldiers, the Hound roars and looks around, trying to see if the rest of his men are following.
Bloody fools, sending their army out when it's half-formed. I thought the young wolf was supposed to be good at war.
His thoughts are cut off by the sight of Septim Maribald rushing towards him on a horse.
Back, you fool. These men are still living. You won't find anyone to give last rites yet. I saw a contingent emerging from the walls. They were wearing the colors of House Arryn. They were led by a giant of a man, far larger than any knight, except one.
The Hound's eyes narrow as he catches the meaning, but none of that makes sense. His brother is supposed to be dead, and if he wasn't, he would be serving the Lannisters. It takes a moment for everything to click, and his face darkens.
7 hells. Another Lannister trick. You are right about being able to smell that from a mile away.
Rather than order his men to charge back into the lines and assisting the others, he orders them to keep moving until they clear the dust clouds and see a figure in shining armor cutting through the Baratheon lines and making their way towards camp. They are led by a giant of a man, his gilded plate untarnished by the rain. He moves with impossible strength, cleaving men in half with a single swing. The soldiers scatter in panic. None dares face him. Sandor freezes, the world narrowing to the flash of the greatsword, the slaughter, the ghost in the rain.
My brother's dead. Then you can tell that thing that. Oh, I will. All right, you bastards. On me.
He rears his horse and gallops forward. The Hound charges through the mud, his horse screaming beneath him. They rush right towards Stannis' camp just as Sir Robert Strong cleaves through men-at-arms defending the king. Stannis stands behind, drawing his sword and preparing to face him just as the last of his guards fall. But as Robert raises his sword, the light gleaming off his helmet, the Hound gallops between them and catches his blade. It dents his shield and nearly throws him from his saddle. The Hound curses and drives his sword into the giant's side. Though it bites deep, black ichor flows out instead of blood.
7 hells. What did they make of you?
The mountain answers with silence. He smashes Sandor to the ground with his fist. The Hound rolls and leaps back and catches the next blow. The massive knight rains down attacks, expecting to leave the man buckling like so many others. Yet the Hound does not fall. He catches each blow, their blades sending sparks everywhere.
Look at what you are!
No response, only the grind of metal and the reek of death. Stannis stares, battered and furious, surrounded by a handful of surviving guards. He sees Sir Robert, sees the inhuman strength, the lifeless eyes, and falters.
What devilry is this? Not devilry, Your Grace. Deception. This is Cersei's doing. She set her corpse to slaughter your men posing as Valemen. The Lion's last trick. Archers, fire!
Half a dozen crossbowmen take aim and release quarrels into the massive warrior, punching through his armor as if they were parchment. The Mountain raises his helm, roaring like a beast, but Sanders surges up beneath him and drives his sword against his head. It knocks the helmet clean off, and to their surprise, he sees that there is no face beneath. There is no head, simply nothing. The Hound freezes, but only for a moment. His face darkens.
You're no knight, and you're sure as hell not my brother.
With a final swing, the Hound's sword drives into his battered breastplate and breaks it entirely, pushing into his heart. The blow splits the breastplate clean, black ichor spilling out into the mud. The body collapses, twitching, finally still. For a moment, no one breathes.
I walked right into this deception. You've seen what this war has become, Your Grace. Call your men back. Say you can parley with the Starks and Targaryens. This battle is pointless. Send your men back, and I will recall mine. This battle is over.
The Hound nods and sends his soldiers back to the main line, but he remains with Maribald and Stannis.
Let this madness die before the realm does. Your Grace, I beg you, please. We must end this before the realm is lost completely. Then tell your king I have the claim. The throne is mine by right.
I've heard every king with an army claim that, Your Grace. The Lions claim that. Your brother said that. Bloody Daenerys Targaryen said that.
And which one of them understood what that claim means? Do any of them follow the duty that comes with the realm? King Stannis, no one denies your dedication to the realm and your years of long service. But I must ask, surely duty does not end if you are not the king. Perhaps it does not. And does that change anything?
It does. If you feel so strongly about your duty, surely you can do it regardless of your position, whether it be king, hand, or master.
And you would ask me to hand over my position again? What is owed to me? I ask that you consider that others feel just as strongly about their position as you do. I have met King Robb, Queen Daenerys, and they both have virtues just as you do. Things that will allow them to do what is necessary to fix what is broken. Surely you can see that as well. But when you turn your swords upon each other, all it will do is tear what order remains. Please, at the very least, entertain peace talks.
Stannis stands motionless for a long time, as if the gods themselves wait for his answer.
Very well. Once the city falls, we will discuss that.
By morning, the battlefield lies silent, except for the groans of the wounded. Stannis' banners begin to withdraw toward the sea, while word spreads through the allied camps. The false attacks, the chaos, the monster in Lannister armor, all of it revealed. Lyn Corbray is interrogated, and his men are detained. They soon confirm these rumors, and are executed by Jon Royce. Orders are also sent to Littlefinger that he must be imprisoned at once to await execution. Meanwhile, Stannis sends word and suggests coordinating a strike. Robb agrees the next day, and both armies roll siege towers forward and begin their assault. Daenerys mounts Drogon and strikes at the places they aren't attacking, unleashing fire to cut the Lannisters off and prevent them from reinforcing. With the Tyrells abandoning them and their best soldiers dead, the Lannister army collapses quickly, and within a day, the Red Keep falls to them. Cersei is dragged off to be executed, and Jaime tries to fight them off, only to be cut down. Tommen is treated with remarkable gentleness as they discuss what shall happen next. All claims are pushed forward and discussed, but issues arise. There is the matter of Tommen's parentage, which both Stannis and Daenerys agree should discredit his claims. Stannis also reiterates that he will listen to whatever demands the small folk have, and will implement them within reason. Daenerys also vows to work for the betterment of the people. Meanwhile, Robb reiterates his desire for northern independence, and yet the winds of change upset balance. The first is that Dorne's support begins to weaken for Daenerys due to the death of Quentyn. While they continue to back her, whether they will go to war for her is another matter. Though she has her dragons, they cannot be everywhere. As each side reaches a deadlock, the conversation shifts, and each side instead lays out what they wish to do to help the realm. The conversation shifts to the problems and crises that have plagued the Seven Kingdoms. As they do, the claimants all begin to see each other's strengths. They begin to see each other's true efforts to make peace arise. In the end, a compromise is reached. Daenerys, she'll claim the Iron Throne, but the rumors of her being barren continue to plague her, so she decides that she will adopt Tommen as her heir, and if a child is born to her, she will be wed to the boy if it is a girl, and Shireen if it is a boy. Meanwhile, Stannis shall be made Hand of the Queen, while Tyrion is made Master of Laws, and Nymeria Master of Whispers. Marjorie is named Master of Coin, and this new council makes a vow before the Seven to begin reforming the Seven Kingdoms, to give the small folk more rights, just as the High Sparrow wants, though they are expected to disarm as a result. Meanwhile, Robb Stark is granted independence, and Septim Maribald will serve as the missionaries to the north, with the Hound serving as a go-between. That's our theory. Westeros is a land filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey across the Seven Kingdoms and beyond, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.